Hi there. So, we are right on the edge of this incredible future, where humanoid robots aren't just some sci fi thing. They're going to be in our homes, doing our laundry, our dishes, basically becoming our new roommates. It sounds amazing, right?
But what happens when one of these super powerful new roommates has, let's say, a bad day? Because, yeah, when things go wrong, they can go really wrong.
And nope, that is not a line from some cheesy sci fi movie. That is a direct quote from a real lawsuit. And honestly, it perfectly sets the stage for what we're going to get into today. So let's dive right in. We're talking about a whistleblower lawsuit against Figure AI, which is, a huge name on the cutting edge of humanoid robotics. And this whole story, it really pulls back the curtain on a massive clash happening behind the scenes. Okay, so the main players here are pretty straightforward. On one side, you've got Robert Grundell. He was the head of safety, the guy whose job it was to, well, keep things safe. He says he got fired for raising the alarm. And on the other side, you've got Figure AI, the company he says completely blew off his warnings. So, how does that happen? How does a star employee, a guy literally hired to prevent accidents, get the boot? Well, let's walk through the timeline because it's pretty wild. First thing you gotta know, Robert Grundell wasn't just some random dude. We are talking about a serious expert here, with over 20 years of experience in robotic safety. Figure actually recruited him. He got great performance reviews. They even gave him a raise. I mean, everything looked like it was going perfectly. And then things went south. And I mean, fast. He gets a $10,000 raise in July for doing a great job. But in August, he puts his biggest safety worries down in writing. By September, he's fired. Wow. That is one heck of a quick turnaround. So, what was in that report? What were these concerns that were apparently so explosive? Well, according to the lawsuit, we're talking about some really basic fundamental stuff. Things like no formal safety procedures, no system for tracking near misses. Like that whole robot punching a fridge thing. And maybe the most alarming part? A super critical project for an e-stop, an emergency stop button, was supposedly just canceled. You see, what this all points to isn't just a simple disagreement between an employee and a boss. It's a massive, fundamental clash between two totally different ways of thinking about how you build stuff. In one corner, you've got the classic Silicon Valley ethos, right? Move fast and be technically fearless. It's all about speed, innovation, getting to market first. But in the other corner, you have the world of heavy machinery safety. And that world is all about caution, documentation, risk analysis. Everything has to be written down and double-checked. The lawsuit even claims that Figure's leadership just had a dislike of written product requirements. Two totally different worlds. And if you need just one detail to really get this culture clash, get this. The lawsuit claims that the emergency stop feature, the big red panic button, was nixed because an engineer did not like the aesthetic appearance. I mean, seriously? Aesthetics over safety. That pretty much says it all, doesn't it? And that really is the heart of the whole issue. Move fast and break things is a fine motto when your thing is a line of code or a website. But when the thing you might break is, a person, the consequences are just on a completely different level. So look, this whole lawsuit is way bigger than just one company or one guy. It really forces us to zoom out and ask a much bigger question for all of us. As these incredibly powerful machines start walking around in our world, how are we supposed to think about them? Let's just put the power into perspective for a second. According to the impact tests Grundell ran, this robot could generate more than double the force it takes to fracture a human skull. Okay? That's a really sobering number. It shows you just how seriously we have to take this. But okay, hang on. Does powerful automatically mean it's bad? Should we just be afraid of it? I mean, think about it for a second. We live with powerful, potentially dangerous tools every single day. Cars, table saws, heck, even the blender in your kitchen can do some serious damage if you're not careful. We've figured out how to live with them because we've made a decision that what they do for us is worth the risk. It all boils down to this thing called a risk/reward calculation. The real question isn't, can robots be dangerous? Because, duh, of course they can. The real question is, how do we balance their incredible potential with those dangers? How do we manage the risk without, making the tech totally useless? And that brings us to the final, and maybe the most important question that this whole story really puts on the table for every single one of us. As we get ready to welcome these powerful new roommates into our lives, into our homes, who gets to decide what safe enough actually means? Is it the companies racing to build them? Is it the safety experts like Grundell, government regulators? Or is it us, the people who are actually going to be living next to them? That's the conversation we all need to start having. See ya.